Thank you for tuning in. Everyday Amazing. I'm your host, Alton. Today on the show, I have an exciting guest from you guys. It's a DJ local to Sacramento. He's a close friend of mine. We went to college together. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. I think his story is going to inspire a lot of people. Stay tuned. Everyday Amazing. Alton. Welcome to the show. It's good to have you, Keit. It's been a while since I talked to you, right?
Yeah, 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years.
Maybe less, actually. 3 years. 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, time flies by so fast nowadays.
Yeah. Sure.
I believe last time I talked to you was at Folsom Lake College.
Yep.
We were both comms majors, right?
Yep.
Okay, so tell me about what you've been up to since you left Folsom Lake College.
So I was studying communications at Folsom Lake College. Luckily, I was able to transfer to a dream school of mine, UC Berkeley, where I continued to study communications with a minor in journalism. Okay. So I was able to get my degree in 2018. So I've been out of school for about 1.5 years now almost. And I moved back to Sacramento after working in San Francisco for a while. Decided to move back to Sacramento because it's a lot more affordable here.
That is true.
Also, I just miss my family, miss my mom's cooking. So I decided to move back. And then I started a new project of mine, starting a company called Pastel, which is...
Before we get into your company, man, it's something that you said that I kind of want to touch on. So why was, Berkeley your dream school?
It's just one of those like schools that you hear about. Moving to America when I was like 6, you hear about like going to college as like the American dream. And then of course you hear like a school like UC Berkeley or Cal. And it's just so nearby. It's just like, it's known as the #1 public university in the world. And so that's always been in the back of my mind, like, oh, it'd be cool to go there, you know? Right. It's so near, it's nearby, and it's just such a prestigious school. And then the fact that I was able to get in was just a very special moment for me and my family.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you say you moved to America when you were 6. So where are you originally from?
So I was born in Vietnam.
Okay.
Yeah, and I moved here when I was 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
You moved here when you were 6, and so talk about how that experience was. I know it's, you've been out here for a while, but what's your first memory of coming to America?
Oh man, moving here. Well, actually, what's crazy was I came to America in like November of 2001. Okay. And so my first memory of like really the idea of traveling, that was my first time in a plane. And then of course 2 months before that was 9/11, and so not the best memory of like flying. So, and then my mom was super nervous for that flight, but that was an interesting experience. But yeah, coming to America was very interesting. Obviously, I didn't speak the language. Making friends was a little difficult. But I was luckily I was put in this class where I was with other
kids
who were adjusting and speaking English as their second language. So it took me 1 year to adjust, and I just kind of had a regular American childhood, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was pretty interesting, yeah.
Okay.
Played a lot of basketball in recess and stuff, and that made friends that way.
Okay, yeah, hey, if you want to make friends, basketball is one of the best ways, Even if you don't necessarily speak the language, you can dribble a ball. It doesn't take a lot, effort to do. You can pass the ball, even if you can't dribble well, or if you can't shoot well, there's something you can do in basketball. So, that sounds like quite an experience you went through. Now, let's go back to, the school thing, Berkeley. So you said that was a big achievement for you and your family. I'm assuming that your family, did they put a lot of pressure on you to go to college, or was that something that you wanted to do? Tell me a little bit about that.
It wasn't never really like something they pressured. I never felt that pressure.
Okay.
But it was kind of raised for myself. Like I just set a goal that it was expected for me to go to college and get a degree. And I don't know, I feel like school gives you that foundation. When I graduated high school, I was 17, I honestly did not know what I wanted to do.
Right.
Didn't really, I'm still trying to figure out who I am as a person, but I feel like school was able to, put me in a community with like common-minded peers. I can learn from other people and just kind of develop my interests. And so that's why I stuck with going to school. and then it just ended up at a really good school and had a great experience. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. What about your parents? What do they do like for a living?
Yeah. So my parents, they moved here, started a new life. Really had to raise a family. Me, my siblings. I have a younger brother and younger sister.
Okay.
So they're hard workers. They don't speak English that well. Since they tried taking classes when they got here, but time and work, that they just weren't able to balance it.
Right.
But it's amazing to see what they've been able to achieve. My mom owns a nail salon.
Wow.
And so my parents actually both own a nail salon, but my mom works there, and then my dad works as a cook at Panda Express.
Okay.
Which has been pretty awesome because I get a lot of free Panda Express.
Hey.
But yeah, man, it's amazing. They're inspirational, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming, watching your parents, work so hard to make sure that you guys had a better opportunity to, get a higher education, to, have the things maybe that they weren't necessarily able to have. Would you say that's where you got a lot of your inspiration and drive from?
Definitely, man. You nailed it right there. It's just, my parents always raised me to take advantage of all the opportunities that are, put in front of me. And so for me, I just don't want to ever let any opportunity go to waste. There's always opportunities out there that might not even be in front of me, but it's like now I'm 23 now, and I've experienced where a lot of the opportunities you have to go out there and look for yourself.
Right.
And then you work hard and you take advantage of whatever's there. But yeah, man, it's definitely a mindset that I've been raised with, for sure.
Okay. Now tell me about, so with school, was there ever a time when you felt like school wasn't for you? Or did you always know as soon as you went to college, you were like, this is for me, I need this foundation? Tell me a little bit about that. Because I know, the only reason I say that is because for me, there was times where I went back and forth, where I wasn't sure if college was the right route or if I should be doing something else. Yeah. So I just want to know from your experience, so let's say we're both comm majors, so how did you handle that, and did you always feel like, you should be there?
Definitely hit moments of, like, I was discouraged, probably in high school, towards the latter end of high school. Like, I didn't really have good grades. I had decent grades, but towards like junior, senior year, I was getting so lazy, and school was I just felt like it was boring. It wasn't going to take me anywhere. I'd rather like work a job and make some money, because that's when you're starting to work money. You're like, oh, there's a way to make money, better way to spend my time than sitting in high school class. So that kind of took me away from staying motivated to stay in school. But I ended up going to Folsom Lake College, and really found interest in education again. The stuff was very interesting. The curriculum, the professors were really cool, so I really enjoyed it. But even in college, the first year, I was like, oh man, my family I'd rather work and make money and help my family with the bills, right? I just felt kind of guilty for even being in school and like spending time joining clubs and doing extracurriculars, which, for some people, it's actually a really good thing, because you're able to get involved with school and build skills that you wouldn't get in the classroom. But for me, I just felt guilty because I felt like I could be spending that time making money and helping my parents. So yeah, there are definitely moments like that. But I've talked to my parents about those things, and they just kept motivating me, telling me to do the best thing that's right for me, do what makes me happy, and they're always gonna have my back. So for me, I feel very privileged to have that opportunity. Not everyone gets that kind of support.
Right.
So yeah. So yeah, I was able to get over those humps.
Okay. So, but having that conversation with your parents, man, I think that was key, because I'm pretty sure there's other people like you out there who have felt that way, where, their parents are really, working overtime to make sure that they have an education, but, they may have those feelings like, I don't know what I want to do in school because I'm still figuring out who I am, and they may feel guilty, right? Because, you see your mom and dad, work overtime just to make sure that, you can get this education. And so having that, that conversation, I think, was probably one of the most important things that you did. And then having them give you like, nah, do what you got to do, we're okay, and this is for you, So I think that's really big that you were able at what age were you when you had that? Like
probably 17.
17,
yeah,
at 17,
18.
to have that conversation with your parents. I think that's amazing. Okay, so you graduated from UC Berkeley. What was your career in?
Media studies, which is mass communications, and I got a minor in journalism as well.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about this company that you started.
So I work for the city of Rancho Cordova at City Hall as a communications intern, just doing a lot of PR work, as well as just basic communication stuff. I do the newsletters and update the website and work on social media content to really, put that information out to the public. I think it's a passion of mine. Well, I love my city. Rancho Cordova is where I grew up, and I've gone really involved in the community since I was like in middle school, just doing community service. And the cities is growing so fast, and so I just want everyone to be able to, get a bite of that success that's happening in Rancho Cordova right now. I think the most important part is getting that information out there, getting people involved if that's what they want to do, and just keeping that community, close knit, because I felt like that's the key point of like living in Rancho Cordova is having such a close community. So being able to contribute to that at City Hall is kind of pretty cool for me right now. At the moment is what I'm working every day at doing. So it's pretty cool. I love it.
Okay, giving back to your community.
Yep.
Now, even though you're giving back to your community, which is an amazing thing, that's not all there is to Keit, right? Where it is that you're a pretty big up and coming DJ. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, man. So one of the things what got me into DJing was even in high school and college, I always like threw house parties. And of course, every house party, you need music, right?
No party without music.
Exactly. So of course, after throwing a few house parties, I just love like giving people, just being with my friends and just having a good time. And I just got into DJing. I'm like, wow, controlling the music really changes the vibe of a party or whatever. And I really got interested in doing music. Because even in high school, I played the guitar and stuff, really loved music. But DJing brought a whole new aspect to it, just playing music, and then I got into producing recently, just producing music as well this past year. So it's been a crazy experience. And then just one thing, I've met amazing people DJing for the past 2 years, and so that's kept me going, and all the opportunity that's been coming at me too. It's been pretty wild.
So tell me about your first big DJ experience, like your first time you were on stage. Like, what did that feel like?
Oh, dude. Crazy. It's just like so much adrenaline. You're just playing music and you see people feedback with the same energy. And you're like, oh, I want to just keep doing this forever, because you're just performing, you're playing music that you love. Sometimes you're performing music that you made and like things that you worked on, and then having people enjoy it. It's crazy.
Okay.
I love it.
I think we have a few pictures of you DJing. Let's see. Tell me about that. Was that your first time DJing?
No, so that was a show back in June in Berkeley, actually. So
Wow.
where I went to school, that's a venue basically a block away from where I used to live when I lived in Berkeley. So I went to a lot of shows there. And so to be on stage playing there at that venue was pretty cool. A lot of my friends were there. And so that was for a show called Midnight Munchies. So
Midnight Munchies.
yeah,
Okay.
I was able to play a pretty awesome set for a great crowd. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't ask you, what type of music do you play, and what type of music inspires you?
yeah, so I play a little bit of everything. Being a DJ, I've gone so many gigs, so I've gotten used to playing everything. But when I play shows, the thing that I always tell people is that I play trap and dubstep and future bass, and hard dance. So a few things, but those are obviously subgenres of EDM. So I would say overall, I'm an EDM DJ, and
DJ.
EDM producer. And in terms of music, I can't really name a certain genre that I listen to all the time, but I can name certain artists. So
Favorite artist?
Favorite artist, probably San Holo, which is funny because his name is kind of similar to my name. Actually, San Holo is like Han Solo flip, like the S and the H got switched. And so my middle name's Han, so I wanted to go by that name Han Solo, but then it's like too close to Han. Well, I can't copyright
Right,
or
right.
whatever. So, and then San Holo's already taken. So I got my name Lonely.Han because I was like, Han, okay, I want to keep Han in there. But then Solo, you're like alone. What are you when you're lonely? Lonely.Han. I'm like, that has a ring to it.
I like it, man.
I'll stick to it.
Genius,
and then it kind of throws people off when I introduce myself. I'm like, I'm Lonely.Han. They're like, oh, lonely. But that's also kind of like how my music is too. Sometimes I really want to bring out emotions and just embrace your sorrow and your sadness and be like, it's okay to feel sad or whatever. But it's also, if you don't listen to EDM, you always think it's like happy, upbeat electronic music. But then there's also another side of electronic music where it's very emotional, and you really feel the vibration of the music, where that inspires me to make the music that I want to make one day, you know? Yeah.
I really dig that, man. I like your whole play on words there. You know? I like your story to your, you know, how you got your name.
Yeah, man. Thank
so
you.
then what would be the goal? Let's say 5 years from now even, like where do you want to be? Because I know you love, you know, working for the city. I know you love giving back to the community. Do you plan to keep, you know, moving up with that type of work? Or do you see yourself branching off more into the music world and eventually touring, doing more shows and trying to get your name out there that way?
Yeah, well, what my true interest is to just continue to put on shows, you know, not whether I'm on stage or off stage, it's just really producing a show, a live show. I think we live in a generation where people, they're consumers of experiences. So if you're able to create a great experience for someone, that's something that's going to stick with them forever, and it's very valuable. You know, everyone's going to music festivals. Coachella is such a big thing now. You know, it's such a cultural thing, and for me, I just want to contribute to that. And so my dream job is to be a festival producer, you know, and be able to put these big festivals together. I think they're super fun. So yeah, you know, 5 years from now, I want to work in the music industry doing those things. But it's cool because everything that I'm doing at City Hall, I feel like those skills are able to translate.
Definitely.
And I feel like I'm still very young, where any experience is great experience. So I'm just doing the best that I can to make sure that I'm developing the skills that I need to get me to where I want to be. So.
Okay. I mean, to be so young and to have your own company and to be DJing, it's a lot, man. It's amazing what you've accomplished already. So I have no doubt that you're gonna, you know, go even further than this. And you also have Pastel is the name of your company?
Pastel is my company that I founded. That was a project I put together when I moved back to Sacramento. It started as a DJ and producer collective, just an artist collective with a few friends of mine. We felt that we just love making music and making, you know, DJing. So we wanted to create a group where we're able to support each other, feed off of each other's ideas. And so we formed Pastel. One thing led to another, and you know, we were interested in doing a show. So I started reaching out to venues in Sacramento, and one venue wanted to give us a chance to just do a show. And so that launched us, and our first show went really well, and we're like, oh, we got to keep doing this.
What was the name of the venue?
So much fun. So it's a venue in Old Sacramento called Sacktown Sports Bar, and you know,
shout out to Sacktown Sports Bar.
Shout out to Sacktown Sports Bar for giving us that opportunity. We've done 5 shows there, and they all went really well, and that really launched us, really gave us an opportunity to hone in on our skills and actually, you know, get an opportunity to throw a show and plan it, and it was just really cool. So great opportunity. Now we're able to move on to a new venue, one of the newer clubs in Sacramento called London, which, you know, we're having a Halloween show there and stuff. So yeah, pretty exciting.
I'm excited, man. I think I'll be able to make that one. So, you know, I think for you to be so young, Keit, I think you're doing amazing things, man. I knew when I met you back in college, you know, you had some bright ideas, but, you know, I just knew that you had to, you know, pull the trigger on them, you know, and seeing how you graduated from UC Berkeley and you came back to Rancho, your hometown, and everything you're doing for the community there, but see, you didn't give up on your passion, and that's what I really like about you, man. I really like that, you know, you, even though, like I said, you have this degree, and you can just go corporate, right? Like you can, your whole career can just be for the city, but you know, your passion is still music. And I think that's important, you know, is when, you know, people work 9 to 5s, right? Because I'm assuming like you work for the city 9 to 5.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's not all you are. You're not just, you know, this guy that, you know, works a 9 to 5 that gives back to his community. You also are a great musician, you're a great producer, you know, you're a businessman. So I think, you know, for you, like I said, for you to be so young and be doing all these things, I think your story is amazing. And I think, you know, people who see this, you know, I'm pretty sure there are people out there right now who are going through the same thing, who have ideas and, you know, they want to give back to their community, but they don't want to, you know, give up on what they're passionate about. And I think you're a perfect example of someone who shows that you don't have to compromise, right? You know, like you don't have to give up one thing to do another. You can do both. It's all about like time management, right? And so I love the fact that you're inspiring other people out there, and you know, you and your friends came up with a company. And I appreciate you coming on my show, man, and sharing your story and everything like
Thanks
that.
for having me, man.
Anytime, man, anytime.
Yeah.
Next time I have you, man, you're gonna have to come, you know, make something for me. So,
Let's make it happen.
oh, we're gonna make it happen.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for, you know, coming by. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is another episode of Everyday Amazing with Sky Alton. Stay tuned for the next episode.